episode 74.
What's going on, Vinny? Hello.
Oh, everyone is happy in Jets land. Everybody.
And Raiders land. Oh, man.
Everyone's happy everywhere.
Woo.
I think Eagles land is the happiest. Oh, how you been?
I've been good. You know,
we haven't been on in a little bit.
We haven't been on in a little bit. There's a lot that's happening.
A lot's happened since we haven't been on. A lot of crazy stuff, but let me just say hello to our friends out there in Kansas City who are having an amazing NFL draft out in KKFI. It looked wonderful there last night. All the people, congratulations, Kansas City. Looked lovely. You can check everything with us on our website, vinandmikepodcast.com. But besides that, where do you want to start, Mike? I'll give you. There's so many topics.
I got to
choose the first.
I need to start with my New York Knicks.
The New York Knicks. Go ahead. Let's hear. 4-1. It was beautiful. Go ahead.
To me, honestly, it was just pure domination, and it was watching games at the Garden again was electric. Seeing that crowd, seeing the energy, and this was an Atlanta team that was favored against the Knicks. Although the Knicks beat them 3 out of 4 times, that they had home court advantage. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, the Cavs are going to do it," but the Knicks stole that game 1 in Cleveland, and it was great. You had Julius Randle at the time, he had 22 points, Brunson 20 points. You had a real good team effort. But I really have to shout out Mitchell Robinson. He has been unreal. He was unreal in that series. And a lot of times when you don't score points, you're not really noticed. You don't get as much recognition as a Josh Hart or Jalen Brunson. But he was after all these loose balls. Him and Hartenstein, they were just awesome. They got the Knicks a lot of second chances, and that's what really won the Knicks the series, Vinny. There were 2 things: strong free throw shooting and then offensive rebounding, second chance points. In the second game that they got blown out, what was happening? A lot of isolation play. That's when Julius Randle was going one-on-one. The passing wasn't crisp, right? But when they played team basketball, the extra pass, getting rebounds, second opportunities, honestly, I think they could compete with anybody because there's so much depth in this team. And what happened the last game against Cleveland? Julius Randle didn't even play. Other people stepped up, and they won single-handedly. It was a great team victory. And then who would have thought we would be seeing here on Vin and Mike right now, and they would be playing the Miami Heat having home court advantage. This is why it's crazy.
We thought they were better than the Cavaliers. Yeah. Right? We actually said that. And then we were a little nervous about playing Milwaukee, right? Going into Milwaukee and all that. But now we don't have to worry about it. The Heat are coming to us, and it's going to be a wild, wild series. Thibodeau talked a little bit about the late 90s, early 2000s with those Heat-Knicks matchups when he was the assistant on the Van Gundy. So a lot of that. But I think you make a great point about Mitchell Robinson because Thibodeau even said it, that he thinks he's the best offensive rebounder in the league. Yeah. He's learning he's learning how to get better at defensive rebounding. He's learning to get better at blocking shots. He's learning to get better at his offensive game. But he came out and said he thinks he's the best offensive rebounder in the league. Which, you made a very good point about that. I liked the way R.J. Barrett changed his game after game 2. I like the way he's just hitting the hole, taking the ball when he's got his opportunity, driving to the lane, trying to make things happen that way. That was fantastic to see. And you mentioned Josh Hart, who's been fantastic defender, does all the things. And then, of course, we know Randall's suffering the ankle injury and felt it a little bit in Game 4 and Game 5 and all that. But Jalen Brunson, the guy that, we talked about, was the man in the series, really took over the offense, distributing the ball, making big shots, getting everybody in the game. And this Knicks team is now starting Sunday. Miami, here we go.
Look out, Jimmy Butler.
We got to contain Jimmy Butler. And I think Mitchell Robinson will be a big factor in keeping that lane under control and doing the things that we did against the Cavaliers. I think we play Jimmy Butler the same way we played Donovan Mitchell. The same kind of matchups, do the same things, and then let it all play out from there. But we know Jimmy Butler's probably going to be the best player on the court, throughout the series. We just got to play that team effort. The bench is going to have to step up. We're going to see more quickly. Quentin Grimes is probably going to have to play a little bit more. He's going to come back from that shoulder injury they said for game one. So all that's got to all play out. But this team, has got the juice going here in New York. It's the first time they won a series in 10 years.
I know. I was excited. The other thing I wanted to mention, how looking back and foreshadowing that you look at Donovan Mitchell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was this close to being a New York Knick.
Yeah.
We all thought at the beginning of the season that Jalen Brunson would be a good player, but he's been nothing but great. And I feel when the ball's in his hands, it's safe. He knows how to really steer this offense. And Thibodeau's done a great job with the chemistry of players. Also, the good attitudes. The example is Julius Randle, I think, matured as a player. And the reason why I say that is that a couple of years ago when they got destroyed by the Hawks, there was a lot of things with him and the fans, if he was taken out of games too early. But I noticed when he was not performing in one of the games that Thibodeau took him out the whole fourth quarter, and he was there cheering for his teammates. Bottom line is this team just wants to win, whatever it takes to win, whoever has to be on the court. But the grit has just been up there. And they're after every loose ball. They're playing very smart basketball. And I'm going to tell you something, Vinny, that I really do believe we could beat the Heat. I think we match against them well. I think that Josh Hart, between Josh Hart and Brunson, whoever has the opportunity to guard, double team Butler, I think they'll do a good job. I don't think he's getting 56 points against these Knicks. I really don't.
I hope not.
I hope not. Hope I'm right about that. But I think playing at Madison Square Garden in the playoffs is one of the hardest places to play. And I think if the Knicks could win this series and we go against Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, why couldn't we beat them? We beat them 3 times this year. I don't want to overdo it right now or look too much in the future, but there's really – we're even on the West right now, I don't think there's a specific team that in the past you would always have a super team that was just far superior. And I don't feel we have that this year. And I think it's anyone's ball game right now. I think anyone could get there. But it was just, as we said it, Vinny, when you have a winning team in New York, there's nothing like it, especially basketball, the Mecca.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Knicks won that series, you felt a different vibe in the city. You really did.
The juice is flowing. It's flowing. You can feel it. And especially when the Heat won, I think people really have now, feeling even better because no one thought the Knicks were going to have a home court advantage throughout this playoffs. Everyone thought they would have to go, into Milwaukee, into Boston, to get to the NBA Finals. And now they're home against the Heat team. I think they match up well against. And then we see what happens after that, right? We'll see what happens with Boston and Philly and who comes out of that. Right. 2 very, very tough teams, but let's take it one step at a time. Yeah. Let's wait for Sunday. Let's keep up that pressure. Let's play that defense that Thibodeau, the reason he was brought to the Knicks and it was to bring back that kind of defense, that kind of hustle, that kind of mentality. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to continue to see from this team, moving forward.
And you're absolutely right about something about RJ Barrett because I should give a lot of credit to him. This year there's been a lot of ups and downs, but he's a young kid. He's 22 years old.
He is.
There's going to be learning curves. But the way he's so disciplined, and you're right, his agility to drive to the basket and not be afraid, even when he misses, to have the confidence to try again, I think it's a big thing for him. And also, we do expect Quentin Grimes to return to Game 1 and a hopeful Julius Randle too. So the Knicks should be fully stacked for this first game, hopefully. and that will be good.
Yeah. No, it's good to see Brian back from shoulder injury. So that's important.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to see. So I'm excited. I
can't stop thinking about it. It's just like it's surreal, honestly, because being a fan of this team over the years has not been easy. There's been a lot more downs than ups, and that's sports. Speaking of which, real quick, I want to say Giannis, I don't know if you saw his interview.
I did.
He gave such a great answer to that in sports. I want to just let our audience know. So obviously, Milwaukee lost against the Heat. It was pretty devastating, but Giannis was hurt a couple of the games, and one of these reporters asked him, "Do you feel this season was a failure?" And he actually said to him that, "You asked me the same question last year." And in sports, you try to build something, right? You try to build every year to make yourselves better. And he said something about Michael Jordan, saying, "Yeah, Michael Jordan won X amount of championships, but when he didn't win those championships, was he a failure? Do you think Michael Jordan is a failure?" So I felt that was a very mature statement from him, a very true statement that, you're always trying to. In pro sports, it is so hard to get to that finals, right? It's a long season, and I just felt it was a really good answer. It was a mature answer. He wants to win so bad. I was very surprised that they did not win at home that fifth game. Very surprised, actually. And but he has a good attitude. He always wants to make himself better every year, and he will. That's his.
I'll be honest. I didn't overly like his answer because they're a 1 seed, and you need to go in there and win that series. Was the season a failure as a 1 seed and get knocked out by an 8? I don't know if he looks at it that way, but he's got to think that they needed to win that series, that they needed to be better in that series, and he needed to be better, down the stretch. I would have liked him to maybe to say, not compare it to Jordan, because we know where Jordan was throughout history and how Jordan felt about losing and all that. And I just think you gotta step up when you're a 1 seed in that situation. I would have liked him to maybe say, we don't look at it as a failure, but it wasn't where we wanted to be, at the end of the day, and we need to get better every year, and that's the goal. I just look at it that it'd be something for me that I maybe ask Kyle as a Bucks fan as how he felt about.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Kyle.
Maybe see like the thought process, because I'll be honest, if Aaron Judge was up there and the Yankees just lost the playoff series and he said, this season, wasn't a failure, I think New York would have lost their minds and just lost it. Right?
Yeah, but I think it's the context of how you say it. I don't think he would. It's not like he wasn't disappointed. It's not like he said things could have been better and done differently. I think it was the context of how he said it.
I'm guessing once you win a championship, right, like Milwaukee did, and him leading the team to the championship, I'm guessing that's the expectation moving forward every season, right? So, is every season a failure if you don't win a championship? Now, fans are probably going to say, yes and no, depending on the team, right? Because like right now, if the Knicks beat the Heat and go to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose, I don't think any Knicks fan would say the season's a failure, because there was the expectation that this team, wasn't even going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't even know if a lot of people expected them to beat the Cavaliers, right? So I think it's the expectation. It's where you are if it's a failure. That's why, the Bucks being a 1 seed might, saying it's not a failure or feeling, comparing it to Jordan, I think maybe they would come back and be a little upset about those comments. I don't know. It's like you said, it's all in the context of where it is. I get what you say about the maturity level, because I think he answered it the way he felt was right. I would like to hear, what some Bucks fans feel. Again, I look at them as a 1 seed, and I think they should have won that series. So to me, I'm like, yo, dude, you got to reassess, what you think is failing and not, as a 1 seed in the NBA. Losing in maybe the Eastern Conference Championships or it's hard. Listen, we know it's hard to get to finals every year. It's hard to win every year.
That's why Tom Brady winning 10 Super Bowls.
Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, you could go down these guys. That's why they're looked at like the greatest ever to play the games, because it's so hard, and they did it, and they made it look easy to like do it at some point, right? I mean, it's just crazy. But I don't know. I like to get some more perspective. Like I said, for me, I think when you're a Yankees fan and your team is a top seeded kind of team, and they don't get you to that next level, you feel like you feel let down. My brother, as an Eagles fan, didn't consider the Eagles season as a failure. He felt that the team was right there with the Chiefs. Was he devastated at the loss? Of course. Will he ever forget that they lost? Probably not. But at the same time, he's looked at it as, look at this team we have for next year. Look at this draft we just had yesterday. Look at the players we got. So again, I guess it's in the full context of where your team is at this point and going forward. So at least that's the way I probably look at it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's so tonight, let's talk a little bit about tonight, because we got, let's see, Lakers leading the series 3-2 against the Grizzlies at home, and the Warriors are leading the series 3-2 at home. Do both teams close it out, and do we get LeBron? And I don't know, is Curry playing? Was his ankle okay? I didn't even look it up.
I didn't look it up either.
Yeah. But do they close out tonight? I think both the Lakers and Warriors win the series.
I do too. I can't see them losing right now.
Right?
They got a 3-2 lead. They're playing it. They got it. I think they should win on their home court tonight, Vinny. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting, where LeBron is in his career. And the way he's been playing in this series, it's just been very, very, I don't know, just very different level for him. I think he all of a sudden, like all the people that had any, doubts that he's not one of the all-time greats and wasn't a guy that really had that killer instinct. I think we've seen it more in this series and his age now than we ever saw before. Yeah. And I think if he would have had some more of that earlier in his career, not that he didn't win a lot of championships, but I think he would have won more. I think he would have just had more. He needed something to motivate him. Maybe the game was too easy for him as a younger player, and he never had like that full motivation to push him. But I'll tell you, I think Dylan Brooks has motivated him, and these young guys, John Morant has motivated him because he wants to compete. So I've been really impressed with LeBron.
Yeah, and on the other side of it with the Warriors and Kings, I honestly think it just has to do with playoff experience. We know these Warriors; they've been there, they've done it. They're they know what it takes to win. Interesting thing about they got off to a slow start because they were down 2-0. They've won the last 3 straight. They have the momentum. They're home as well. So I think they close it out as well. I mean, I think they have their number now. I really do.
It's exciting. It's definitely exciting. I tell you, I want to
Warriors out. I mean, look at this, and they get a lot of balanced scoring too. I mean, aside from Steph Curry, you have Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, and then you have Draymond. He's been playing really well, and Jordan Poole. I mean, they have a lot of reinforcements. Yeah, he plays well.
Yeah, he
plays well. And look at and then that rebounder. What's his name? Looney. I mean, he had like 25 rebounds last game. It was sick.
Kevin Looney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice player.
So they got a really good team. But like I've said, you won 3 straight. You're going home tonight. I think they could. I think they really take this one. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Curry's playing. So, LeBron's been questionable all season, but he'll be playing as well. All right, Mike. Here's the big question now. We've had people message us, text us, tweet us, everything, and we're 20 minutes into the show. We wanted to talk basketball to start because we're excited about the Knicks. But before the draft last night, I think it was it Monday? I think it was Monday. I don't know. Well, maybe it was Tuesday. Whatever, doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers officially traded to the Jets. Now, you swap first-round picks, which might have hurt you last night a little bit, and we'll go into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Gave up a little later pick there tonight, a 4th or 5th rounder. I forget what it is. You gave up a 2nd-round pick tonight, which you had. Yeah, I think you had 2 of them anyway, so not a big deal.
Not a big deal, though.
I think the big thing for me is that 2nd-round pick next year that can convert to a 1st round if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps. So the one thing you don't want to happen is for him to play 65% of the snaps and win 8 games and give up a top 20 pick and the guy won 8 games, because then you're gonna be pissed off next year. But there's a couple of things I look at, and I looked at it a little deeper since now it's done. In his career, Aaron Rodgers is 80-10 when his team doesn't let up more than 20 points. So if the team lets up 20 or less points a game, he's 80-10. The Jets average, I think it was like 18 points a game last year. Now, not saying he's going to run an 89% clip going into the season if they do that, but it makes you feel better that when the game is close or low scoring or he has the opportunity to put points up, he's going to win a lot of those games. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, you guys won. We were 7-10 last year.
6. We won 6 games last year.
6, 7, whatever it was. I think there was 3 or 4 games that I remember that if Zach Wilson could have made a play, you would have won. Especially both New England games, right? Both New England games for sure.
Yeah.
So I look at it. Let's just say you get 4 more wins. You get to 11 wins. Right there, 11 wins is going to put you in a really good spot in the playoffs. And I think they can be more competitive against Buffalo. I think they can be more competitive against Miami. They can be more competitive against New England. So I think in the division is really where you want to look first. Win the division, right? Get in there, and then you worry about the Bengals and the Chiefs and the Jaguars after that. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're absolutely right, if we had a quarterback last year that was productive, there were so many games we could have won. There were so many games that were a coin flip, right? Because the defense was phenomenal. That was something that was always consistent. Our thing was we couldn't get in the damn end zone. Couldn't. Red zone points were hard to come by. And we know Aaron Rodgers is going to bring a great element. I'm just glad it's finally done. As I said, and I looked at this in many different ways. When it first happened, I really wanted Lamar. By the way, congrats on your contract, Lamar. Way to go. What a contract.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. But here's the deal. We got 2 years. We got 2 years to make a big impact. We already have great receivers. We have a great defense. We'll talk about this draft in just a second. You had to really sacrifice and give up picks to do what you had to do. Ideally, you wanted someone on the offensive line. We didn't get that. The bottom line is the Jets have a great core. Thing with Aaron Rodgers is I think he's changed his tune just in these press conferences, how he feels about the team, the excitement. That's what they need. They don't need this drama shit, because his whole thing was, and I think he was just so unhappy in Green Bay, this is a fresh start for him. his whole thing a while ago was, I want to play with veteran receivers. I want this. I want that. But I feel like it's been taking a different tune lately of, I want to make these players better around me. This is an exciting city to come by. He's talking about Joe Namath too, just how obviously he wasn't going to wear Broadway Joe's number. And there's a lot of respect for this franchise. And, you know, the other thing this year is, I was joking around with someone, is the Jets are going to have more primetime games that they probably ever had with this. They're playing, you know, Kansas City and Dallas. They're playing a lot of teams this year. It's going to be fun. But
yeah,
I have a lot of relief. I know that, you know, a lot of people are skeptical still, like what Aaron Rodgers is going to come play. But like I said, with what he brings to the table, I would take him over Zach Wilson any day. And no disrespect to Zach, because I want him to be successful. I'm not one of those jerks who are like, you know, it just wasn't right last year and we needed a change. But I think the enthusiasm's there. And as long as they stay out of the drama, you're right, Vinny, there's no reason why they can't win 11 games this year, because they won 6 or 7, whatever it was, without any quarterback potentially. It was all their defense. You add points and a core offense that you continue to strive, you're going to be able to do it and compete. So that's it.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I think all Jets fans are ready. It's pretty exciting. So
well, I know Patriots last night when they traded with Berg, right before you guys pick, and they got Broderick Jones went to the Steelers. That was your guy right there, tackle from Georgia. The Jets were getting ready to make that they were going to make that move, but I was surprised to see the four offensive tackles actually go before pick 15. That was surprising, including Arizona, who traded with Houston out of 3, right? Went down to 12 and then traded back from 12 into 6 to take Paris Johnson from Ohio State. So I think right there was the beginning of, more offensive tackles were going to go a little higher, because I think those were there was only really those 4 guys that were projected first rounders. I know the Jaguars took somebody late in the first round, and I think they did that because Robinson is probably going to get suspended for PED use, but those were the 4 guys. So, they're gone, right? So now the Jets have two alternatives. Alternative one is trading down and, see if they can get more draft capital. And the word is that they were trying to, but there was no takers to move up to 15 because there was nobody that was jumping out at anyone to take at that point. Yes. So then what do? You look at your draft board and you take the best player off your board probably at that point. And I'm guessing Will McDonald was the best player on their board.
Yes.
You put him in the rotation, for pass rushers, because there's 2 things you always want to do in the NFL. You want to protect the quarterback and you want to hit the quarterback. And you got to get guys to do both. So you couldn't get the part A, which is maybe to help the protection. Maybe you can see what you can do today, with some of these other later picks in the 2nd and 3rd round. But you do the alternative. You can hit the quarterback. Now you add him to the rotation, another guy that can play, 30 snaps, rotate out, get to the quarterback, fresh legs, fresh faces. We've seen the Chiefs do it for the last couple of years. We've seen the Eagles do it for a bunch of years. We saw the Bengals do it for a time. We saw what the Rams did with their pass rush over, and these are teams that have all been in the Super Bowl, won Super Bowls, and they've done it with a rotating thing. And I think that's part of what you need as a Super Bowl contending team, on top of the franchise quarterback, which now the Jets have. The question is how good is Aaron Rodgers going to be in these big moments? Because he's 7-9 since they won a Super Bowl in the playoffs. They haven't been back to a Super Bowl, since he's, was in the 1-1, which was think 12 years ago already. So there's some skepticism there. He's lost some big games in NFC championships, lost some big home games in NFC championship. So there's a little skepticism there. But this is one of the all-time great regular season quarterbacks. His numbers are off the chart. He's won multiple MVPs. He's taken his team to the playoffs many, many times. And I don't know if he's played with a defense in all those years with Green Bay, and you got to be fair here, as good as this Jets defense is. This Jets defense is very good, has lots and lots of playmakers. They added just another guy yesterday who's going to be part of that playmaker, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see Rodgers' relationship with Garrett Wilson, how he brings him into the fold. We know he has the relationship with Lazard. We'll see if Corey Davis stays on the team. He's still, he could still be traded today or down the road, but we'll see how he builds that relationship. And Breece Hall will be back. Mike Carter's there, So there's a lot of positive when you really look at it. At the end of the day, you got to be happy. But
I am happy.
The problem is, not the winning record since the Super Bowl victory. No Super Bowl appearances since then. Big losses in the conference championship. So there's your yin and yang. Where do you go, Mike? Where do you go?
Well, listen, what I saw last year, a year ago, Joe Douglas and this team had their best draft. They did, and there was a lot of excitement. You saw the difference a few years back. And to Zach Wilson's credit, they had no receivers a couple years ago. Who do they really have, right? And they built on that. And you saw the talent. And then Breece Hall got hurt towards the beginning of the year. You saw his talent, Vinny.
Yeah.
I mean, he was unreal, right?
Yeah. No, they did. Listen, Joe Douglas knows he made a mistake in drafting Zach Wilson, and he fixed his mistake. Let's be honest. He fixed his mistake. He got Aaron Rodgers. There was no mistakes really last season, right? Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner were offensive and defensive rookie of the year, so there's no mistakes there. Breece Hall might have been the offensive rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. He might have passed Garrett Wilson, but either way, no mistakes on that end of that was very solid.
Joe Douglas has done a phenomenal job building this team.
Yeah.
And they said to themselves, now the missing key is the QB situation.
Yeah.
And we could go back and forth saying, oh, we should have got Derek Carr. Oh, we should have got Lamar Jackson. We should have got Jimmy G. We have Aaron Rodgers now, and that's what we have to focus on. He's going to give us that key to win if things fall into place. He already has the core, and they're building around it. So I'm very optimistic, but we keep going back. You won 6 games, essentially. There were 3 quarterbacks playing. There wasn't any consistency. You had Mike White. You started the season, Joe Flacco, and then, Mike White, Zach Wilson. There wasn't any consistency. It was all over the place, right? And they were dealing with that all season.
Yeah.
You keep Aaron Rodgers in place. He doesn't get injured. He plays like from a few years back. And he connects with his receivers, and there's respect there, and they have a good running game, which they do. They'll be right up there. So
good. Yeah, and don't forget, Nathaniel Hackett brings in the offense Aaron Rodgers already knows how to run. Right? There's no big change for him as far as the offensive philosophy. Nothing that's going to shock him when it comes to the plays called, how they run things. So they put the guy in place that Rodgers works really well with, his offense that he's going to run. It's a matter of the other guys learning it, but your quarterback knows it, and he's gonna do well at it.
Yeah.
And he's friends with Zach Wilson. He likes Zach Wilson. He's gonna take him under his wing and help him because he knows that he's not going to be there for the next 5 years.
Right.
He knows that.
That's right.
So maybe Zach flips a switch somewhere in these next 2 years, right? I mean, you give a 2-year timeline.
You never know. Listen. You want him to be.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. You know this is going to happen. Sam Darnold is going to get the starting job in San Francisco.
Oh, here we go.
You know why? I'll tell you why he's going to get the starting job. Because Purdy's not going to be able to play. His shoulder's all messed up. And Trey Lance is just not that good. And Darnold's going to get the job. And he's going to be efficient in the same way Jimmy Garoppolo would be efficient in just getting the ball to Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. And that defense is going to do their thing, right? And they're going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. And across the field from Sam Darnold is going to be Aaron Rodgers. And there's Aaron Rodgers against Sam Darnold. And what's going to happen as Jets fans? You know, the misery that's going to happen. Sam Darnold's going to beat Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
How do I sit here with you every week? You got to make those stupid comments. You were going in a good path. And then you just ruined it. You set this up, didn't you?
Listen, I got Jimmy Garoppolo. I need some relief somewhere.
That's funny. I don't know.
I'll tell you, the Raiders, Tyree Wilson was a nice pick.
Great pick for you guys.
We need another pass rusher. He's a big guy, strong guy. A little concerned with his broken foot because he didn't compete in the combines or any of the practices and all that. But hopefully it fully heals, no issues, none of that stuff, and it's a good pick. I'll tell you, I sat and watched the draft with my brother.
Oh, he must have. Yeah, I was going to say the best team that made out was his.
And I got sick and tired of watching him last night. I couldn't stand even talking to him
because he was smirking.
Because he knew when they traded up the one pick with the Bears, that he was getting Jalen Carter. He knew it.
Yeah.
And how Nolan Smith fell all the way down to 30 is beyond me. And how he gets these two defenders to add to that already defense, to an offense that can score 30 points without trying. And now they add two more defenders to that team. It's just nauseating, this freaking Eagles team. And then you look at the NFC. Who the hell is there to compete with them? Honestly, besides the 49ers, who have no quarterback in all seriousness. We're going to have Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. I mean, come on already.
Yeah.
Just give the Eagles the NFC Championship and just put them in the Super Bowl. We don't even play the season in the NFC. Just put the Eagles there because that's going to happen. And just wait for whoever comes out of the AFC to play them.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They're stacked, the Eagles. They're scary.
Oh, my God. It was ridiculous. And then the Lions make all these moves and draft. They draft a running back with the 12th pick when they have two other running backs already on the roster, which I don't understand that. Unless they're going to trade DeAndre Swift today. We'll see what happens. And then they made a stretch and got a linebacker to Lions. I thought they were the team that could maybe potentially compete with the Eagles with the right picks. And I don't think they made the right picks. I don't. So let me ask you, did you feel bad for Will Levis last night? As he sat there for 4 hours, does not get drafted. The camera, it felt like when Aaron Rodgers got drafted that year with the Packers. They would pan to the poor guy for every pick, and he's staring there into space.
They had highlights. It's terrible.
Oh, my God. And this poor guy, he's what, 20? I don't know how old he is. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
And it's just the situation is terrible for these young quarterbacks. The three of the first 4 picks is a quarterback.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? And then nothing else. And then this guy just sits there all night and they stare at him.
Sucks. I saw that.
I was hoping the Cowboys would take him just so it would cause some controversy today for Dak Prescott. That would have been exciting.
You know what? Is it far-fetched? I know they're relying on Zach Wilson as a quarterback, but would it be that far-fetched for the Jets to try to get him as a backup?
Well, I don't know if I would take him in the second round, but I'll be honest.
No, I'm being serious. Yeah.
If he's there in the third round and the Jets have, he's still there, why not?
Yeah, if it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Why not? There'll be a lot of teams I think will say why not if he's going to.
Because I think the Jets really have to consider going that route because they know after 2 years it's done.
Yeah.
That's his window. And then what are you going to be back to square one?
I'll tell you the guy for them to take is the kid from Tennessee. What's his name? Hendon.
Oh yeah.
The kid that got hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Hold on.
He might slide like in the third, fourth round or something like that at this point. Oh, it's something to consider. I like to see the Raiders get a guy also.
I know, right?
Jimmy Garoppolo's got a three-year deal, but essentially, what is it? Probably a 2-year run for him. After maybe a 1 year after we see what he does, when he throws 25 picks or something, trying to force the ball into Devontae Adams all day.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is I was thinking somebody would trade back into the late in the first round, with the Eagles or the Chiefs, and select that kid. Because you get the 5th-year option with the first round pick. Now that's gone. See, it's hard to draft a quarterback in a second round because you're gonna have to pay him pretty quickly.
Right, but you have to look at the scope of your team.
Yeah, well, think about the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round when they had Carson Wentz as their franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
but they knew. Then don't let them fool you. They knew that Wentz was fading. They knew it. They knew there was something wrong there. So if I'm like the Vikings, right? Kirk Cousins has got a very small window left. Maybe the Rams, Matt Stafford. I don't know how much more he has left. Someone like that. And like you said, even the Jets, right? How much does Aaron Rodgers got a 2-year window? It's probably not a bad spot to take a guy that could be a future franchise quarterback that could go in the second round. Because I think a second round pick with the CBA is a 4-year deal. I think it's a 4-year deal without the 5th-year option. I think if you get to the third round, I think it's a 3-year deal. So, it all depends. I guess it just depends how it falls out. I was trying to figure out why Pittsburgh had the first pick in the second round tonight. Then I realized they traded Claypool.
Oh, yeah.
For their second round pick. That was a good trade for the Steelers.
Made sense for them.
They got the 33rd pick. Or now it's the 32nd because the Dolphins lost their first round pick last night. Imagine that. Imagine your punishment is you lost your first round pick.
Oh man!
Just for tampering with Tom Brady.
That's it. You don't tamper with morons. You don't tamper with the great one.
That guy down. What's his name? I don't even know his name down there. The owner of the Dolphins, Steve, whatever his name is. Guy freaking it's got the Brian Flores stuff going on. He's tampering Tom Brady. What a moron this guy is. What billionaire moron. Just stay where you made your money and leave the football team to the football executives.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what Woody Johnson does. If you really think about it, I give him some credit there. I think he
knows how to separate.
Yeah, he basically gives the blessing on what they're going to pay and everything because it's his money, right? But he lets Joe Douglas run the team.
He really does. And
Joe Douglas lets Robert Salah coach the team.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a degree of separation for that. Yeah. The Jets do a great job of that.
Yeah, I give Woody Johnson credit there. The Giants were always great at that. The Giants, that's why they built such great franchises through the years. Because Wellington Mara, now John Mara, the son, just they have a say, and they want to be involved, but they let their executives actually make the decisions, and make their coaches coach.
Yeah.
Al Davis's problem for so many years is that he wanted to be the owner, GM, and coach.
Right.
Like Jerry Jones, I think if somebody told Jerry Jones that he trusted Jerry, fire Mike McCarthy, and you become the head coach, I guarantee you Jerry Jones would be on the sidelines coaching the team. If his son said to him, Dad, I think you should coach, he would be down there coaching.
Ridiculous.
There he is, Jerry Jones, calling plays.
Calling the plays from the sideline.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
So we've talked about Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson and Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And you can even go back in the older days to Doug Flutie, right? Quarterbacks under 6 feet, smaller guys, all this stuff. And Bryant Young was the first overall pick going to Carolina.
Yep.
You know, under about 5'11", about 200 pounds, which is, you know, not a big guy to be playing quarterback, but has a lot of the intangibles that you look for in quarterback. You know, accurate, smart, pro-style offense. Bill O'Brien loved the kid when he was in Alabama coaching him. You know, Bill O'Brien said he had to be prepared, you know, with the offense because, you know, he knew Young would be prepared and didn't want to look like a fool in front of the kid and all that stuff. But as the NFL, and as we know, we've seen what happened with some of these guys that aren't Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow size. You know, they're bigger guys. You know, what if you had the Panthers pick? And again, I just, you know, we don't know all the conversation and everything. Just based on what you've seen, his size and talent, and all that, would you have taken him if you saw all the intangibles?
Yes, I would. Yeah. Because put his size aside, he's a leader and he's a winner. And he has a lot of those from a physical standpoint. He's just as good as anybody else. He showed that he could be competitive. Now, obviously, the collegiate level is much different from the NFL.
Right.
But I think with this Carolina team, they've had so many quarterback freaking issues that this is exciting for them, and I think he can really gel with them and bring a presence that's going to be a winning one to them. So I think it's a very good direction for this team, and it was the right choice. I'll stand by that. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I personally probably would have assessed C.J. Stroud a little bit more because he's bigger. And again, a lot of people don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. They think they're never NFL ready. But, you know, you have to, you know, I take that with a grain of salt because, you know, the best quarterbacks in the league, one guy's from Texas Tech, another guy transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma, another guy's in Wyoming, you know, another guy's from Ohio State that went to LSU, right? Right. You know what I mean? So it's not, you can't say that, you know, there's a certain school out there that produces top tier quarterbacks every year that are NFL ready. We know Alabama and Georgia produce NFL players. You know,
right.
SEC produces NFL players, but you can't specifically say this school produces NFL ready quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't take that Ohio State, you know, curse essentially and say that's what's going to happen. You know, it's not like the Clippers curse that's going on there.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I look at Tua. I look at Kyler Murray. I just worried about the way the NFL is now with these guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 250, 60 pounds that run 4.5s, and they're going to hit my little 5'10", 195-pound quarterback. You know, my guy Tyree Wilson hits Brian Young. He's out for the year. Just telling you.
Well, listen.
That guy's 6'5", 270. We just drafted him. He's going right in there.
Hey.
Here Max Crosby. We're going to smash that little Russell Wilson, and then we're going to smash that Pat Mahomes, and then we're going to smash that Justin Herbert. That's what we're going to do this year.
The little guys can always get out of the they can always get out quicker.
All right. Aaron Judge yesterday got pulled out of the game. I didn't even want to look at anything. I didn't want to read anything today. Steve didn't text us, so I'm hoping that it's not as bad as it could be. I'll let you. I didn't even look at it. I'll be honest. I didn't want to even look at it. I don't want to hear if he's on the injured list. I don't want to know anything.
Don't look too much into it.
So, but I'm worried about this Yankee team with all these injuries already. I mean, there's too many injuries.
Well, the only thing I'll say, there are a lot of injuries, but I'd rather have them now early in the season than the mid or latter part of the season.
Why does freaking Stanton have to get hurt every year and be out for 6 weeks? Why can't he sprain his toe and miss 2 games? Why does he have to pull a hamstring and get out for 6 weeks? Why does everyone else that pull a hamstring out for 2 weeks? Why is his hamstring 6 weeks? And why does Joey Gallo have to hit 5 home runs against us when we go up and play the Twins?
You should ask them yourself.
I mean, what the hell? And is Carlos Rodon ever going to be on this team? He's got an elbow injury now. Got his back hurt.
Yeah.
Severino's got hurt again. Frankie Montas, we trade for him. He's not back till September.
Yeah.
Does Brian Cashman have a doctor on staff? Do they have anyone that actually looks at these guys' medicals?
You know what's crazy? There was a stat, right, that the Yankees' injuries right now, list payroll's higher than 13 MLB teams.
That's crazy.
That is a crazy freaking stat. So think about it. All right, Giancarlo Stanton, $32 million. Rodon, $22 million. Donaldson, $21. Severino, $15. Montas, $7.5. I mean, it keeps going. So
it's a $100 million payroll.
It is. I mean, that's insane. I couldn't believe that stat.
Then we have to bring other guys up and pay them, major league salaries. So think about the amount of money that the Yankees are paying.
Oh.
Thank God Garrett Cole is on this team. That's all I got to say. He's going to win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah. One other thing I want to talk about because of our hockey fans like Mr. Mangano.
Oh, my God. What a
this has been – we don't really cover hockey too much, and, but it's always great when Rangers and Knicks are playing well. They're in the playoffs. And let's give compliments to the Islanders. They're still in it. They're hanging on. And, of course, the Rangers are playing the Devils. But I actually saw Chris the other night, and I said, it is so odd to me. And when's the last time this happened where – here are the New York Rangers. They won in New Jersey twice. And then they came across to New York, and they won twice. That is so odd.
Yeah.
And
but then they lost last night. So.
They got shut out. They're just not scoring goals. So let's hope the Rangers – the way I look at these playoff series, I really do, basketball and NHL and all, people are like, oh, no, the Rangers are out of it now. Not even close.
No.
Because, honestly – the way you have to look at this, even when the Knicks were up 3-1, and people go to me, let's just put this as a loss and go back to New York and win. No. You got to set it one game at a time, right? To me, it's like 0-0. And honestly, we see teams that go on a winning streak during the regular season. That's the way you have to look at it. There's no reason why the Rangers can't win this series. They were able to beat the Devils twice. They just have to get back and make readjustments. Now, the next game will be home. Right? And then if they win that, they go to game 7. And if you play right, you can win. You can't look at it like that, right? You just have to get back to basics. And the same with all these other teams. Like, just because with the NBA, I saw a crazy stat where if a team's up 3-1, they win 95% of the time. I knew it would be high. I didn't realize it was that high. That's insane. Right? I didn't realize it was that high.
It's a lot of momentum in playoff series, right? Short series. You're up 3-1. You got to just win one of the next, 3 games, right?
Yeah. It's true.
That's really what it comes down to.
It's so true. So
and if you have home advantage, home ice, home court, whatever you want to call it, it leans that way. It just does.
And that's why I think with the Knicks right now, as a 5 seed having home court advantage, you got to take advantage of that. You have to win at the Garden.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is like
they got no choice but to win.
You have to start for me, and I think all Knicks fans. This game one to me, it sets the momentum. Like in the Cleveland series, if we lost game one, I don't know if we would have won game two. You don't know, right?
Well, we lost game two.
I'm saying that we did lose, but I'm saying that if we lost game one, did we? That's what I'm saying. The bottom line is, if we went down 0-2, it's very tough to come back from that. So that's why it's like if you're at home and the Knicks have been with that crowd, you got to get those W's. You have to.
You got to.
It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win on the road.
What you have to understand is if they lose game one, they take the life out of the city. Let's be honest. It starts becoming, same old Knicks, and people start getting pissed. The newspapers get loaded with all kind of crazy things. Twitters, the Instagrams, the social media maniacs all come out. They start yelling at me and you. All that stuff starts going on.
Right.
So they need to come out, win game one, and go in that direction.
I know.
So
I just want to.
What happened to the back of your hair there? What's going on back there? What happened? We got.
You're coming out of my hair?
You got a little puff back there?
I'll fix it for you. Sorry, I've been working my ass off all day. Sorry, I didn't have time to comb it. Listen, I'm lucky I have a nice set of hair.
I know, mine's going away.
Yeah. Jerk.
That's funny. What are you having for dinner?
Oh, way to change the topic. I got some choice words.
By the way, can the Mets have any more injuries also?
Oh, yeah.
Is Verlander ever going to come back?
There should be like a drinking game with the Mets and Yankees right now with their injuries. It's so bad.
Anyone that's out for 6 weeks or more, automatic drink.
Automatic drink. It's just so cool. Before we end, like all the New York sports right now, we talked about it was the first time in 26 years or something. The Devils, Rangers, Islanders, Knicks, and Nets were in the playoffs. That was really exciting. It makes a huge difference in New York. And God, it's just been awesome to watch. Look at all this going on. We went right from March Madness to this. Great time in sports. Then you have your NFL draft. Then Rodgers is a Jet now officially. It's a good time right now. Let's see how long this lasts.
All right. So here's the latest. Here's the latest from Judge. He's not in the lineup tonight, and he's supposed to get an MRI on his hip. So right now, I don't see anything about injury list. He's just not in the lineup tonight. So I'm guessing whatever comes out of the MRI, we'll go from there. So I'll be honest, we can't afford him to be out longer than a week.
No,
because we don't have enough. We just don't have enough bats right now. With Stanton,
right. Every bat you can get.
Donaldson hurt, and the bottom of the lineup only bats 200. Volpe's getting a lot better. I'm happy with him. So, but besides that, we need Judge in this lineup. We need him to play 155 games. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He can miss tonight. Get a cortisone shot in there, right in there. Boom. Let's go.
Man.
Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully we got no damage, just a little twinge.
All right. Well, Yankees and Mets, get healthy. Knicks, go out and do it Sunday. And Rangers, let's get game 6. Let's make it interesting.
And by the way, one last thing about the draft. I felt bad for the Giants as well. I meant to say that because I thought they were going to take a wide receiver, and those guys all went in front of them. But they traded up and took the cornerback from Maryland, which I think they needed.
Not like a very safe move.
They need a little help there.
Yeah.
I know they probably were hoping that the kid from Ohio State or the guy from Boston College, one of those kids slid down. but there was the wide receiver run went in front of them about 4 or 5 spots. I think 4 receivers went in a row or something like that. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Good luck to everyone's teams tonight. 7 o'clock. NFL draft, 2nd and 3rd rounds. I hope you guys get all your players. Maybe the Jets will draft Will Levis. Mike making a prediction. That's their new backup.
Oh, I think that could be a wild card. Let's see if it could be interesting.
I think New York would go berserk if they took him.
The second
round pick. I think it would be very wild. Or maybe the Eagles will just take him because they
got everybody.
They just take all the best players.
Oh.
So,
all right,
Mike. We'll talk soon.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.